Welcome to the Unveiled Hidden Truth Stories channel. Today, we're diving deep into an unexplored historical mystery. The Vanishing at Whitethorn Manor. It sounds like the title of a dusty, forgotten novel, doesn't it? But for generations of historians and local New Englanders, it was a cold, baffling truth. A moment in time, specifically the late autumn of 1888, when an entire household, 8 souls in total, simply ceased to be within the confines of their ancestral home, Whitethorn Manor, deep in the Berkshire Mountains of Massachusetts. It's a story whispered in hushed tones around campfires and in the shadowed corners of antique shops, a tale that for more than a century drifted like wood smoke across the landscape of rumor and folklore. Yet tonight we peel back those layers of myth, letting the deeper, older truth breathe in the open air, inviting you to settle in as the hidden past stirs once more. Imagine a sprawling, granite-hewn structure built in 1720, Whitethorn Manor rising from the rocky soil like a monument planted with impossible certainty. Its foundations rested not only upon the earth, but upon something far older, something the original builders, the stern and secretive Ashworth family, may have recognized in their bones even if they denied it aloud. The manor became a symbol of old-money American prestige, a labyrinth of oak-paneled libraries, velvet-draped parlors, and corridors that seemed to stretch just a little too long. Its chimneys pierced the gray New England sky like watchful towers, silent witnesses to centuries of shifting seasons and shifting histories. Within these walls lived the last direct descendant of the founding family, Elias Ashworth, a brilliant but withdrawn antiquarian whose obsession was not wealth, which he had in abundance, but knowledge, particularly knowledge forbidden, erased, or simply never recorded, stories older than the colonies and older still than the earliest whispers of colonists and missionaries. Elias lived there with Serafina, his delicate, artistic wife, their 3 children, the governess, Miss Alcott, the cook, and the aging groundskeeper. Their world was one of quiet Victorian rhythms, predictable and peaceful. It was on a brisk Tuesday evening, November 6, 1888, that everything appeared perfectly ordinary. Mrs. Gable, the cook, prepared roast dinner as the children laughed upstairs. Miss Alcott tucked them into bed while Elias retreated to his heavily secured study on the 3rd floor, a room he had modified with an unusual spring-loaded locking device. Serafina sketched in the lantern-lit conservatory, her slender silhouette framed by the glass. At around 10:15 p.m., the groundskeeper saw her still there, bathed in warm lamplight, the last human sighting of anyone inside Whitethorn Manor before the dawn revealed a mystery so complete it froze the community in stunned disbelief. The next morning, Dr. Morrow, the family's physician, arrived for his weekly visit with Serafina. He found the front door not bolted but gently ajar, hanging open as if pushed by a hesitant hand. When he called out, the manor's cavernous entrance hall swallowed his voice, sending it drifting along the staircases and into silent rooms. A strange stillness clung to the air as though time had taken a shallow breath and refused to exhale. The faint scent of last night's dinner lingered, and yet no footsteps answered. Room after room revealed emptiness. Beds neatly turned down, Elias' pipe resting in an ashtray, Serafina's sketchbook poised on its easel, pages open to an unfinished drawing of a spiral-shaped cloud. And on the dining table, breakfast was already set, with the coffee pot still faintly warm to the touch. No sign of struggle, no hastily packed belongings. Even Barnaby, the loyal Newfoundland dog, was gone without a trace. Investigators combed the woods, dredged the nearby reservoir, and searched every worn path across the region. Pinkerton agents joined the effort, marking maps, interviewing neighbors, exploring the possibility of abduction, elopement, or foul play. Yet Whitethorn Manor offered no clues, only a haunting vacancy. No carriage tracks, no footprints, no broken windows. The official record ended with a shrug disguised as authority. Mass disappearance under unknown circumstances. That hollow phrase opened the gates for decades of speculation. Ghost stories, cursed lineage, and secret passages leading to underground hideaways. These explanations filled newspaper columns and late-night conversations, but dissolved under scrutiny, leaving behind only a mystery that deepened with each retelling. More than a century later, the story rekindled when Dr. Alastair Finch, a young American historical cartographer specializing in ground-penetrating radar, acquired the dilapidated manor in 2023. Alastair wasn't drawn by superstition. He dismissed tales of hauntings as folklore. What intrigued him was a single, nearly invisible notation he discovered on an 18th-century survey map, a symbol resembling a branching root or lightning strike, labeled only AR 73.1. To him, this was not a ghost story waiting to be debunked, but a puzzle embedded in the architectural bones of a long-neglected estate. His equipment was cutting-edge, his methods precise, and he approached the manor the way a surgeon studies a body before an operation, searching for anomalies that could reveal forgotten infrastructure or hidden chambers. His first breakthrough came in the deepest, coldest part of the house, the root cellar. When he scanned the stone floor, the results shocked him. Beneath the flagstones lay a massive, perfectly circular structure of unnatural density, buried 15 feet below the manor. It did not resemble granite, limestone, or any known stone of the region. Instead, it emitted a crystalline signature beyond geological classification. Determined, Alastair spent weeks carefully peeling back layer after layer until he reached the surface of a gigantic black slab, smooth as obsidian yet somehow darker, absorbing light like a starless night sky. When he touched it, a faint hum traveled through his chest, as though the stone itself possessed a heartbeat older than human memory. Etched across the entire surface were thousands of shallow glyphs, intricate, symmetrical, and hauntingly logical. They resembled nothing known to colonial or indigenous cultures, yet their shapes carried echoes of celestial diagrams and microscopic patterns, as though the stones spoke in the language of the universe itself. It was clear that Elias Ashworth had not simply been a collector of antiquities. He had stumbled upon something that predated recorded history. Alastair dug deeper into Elias' past, uncovering journals hidden away in Boston archives. They revealed that Elias had devoted his last years to studying suppressed colonial accounts, especially those dismissed as heretical. One journal, belonging to a disgraced cartographer named Thomas Thorne, described the archaic resonance points, places where ancient devices lay buried beneath the land. Thorne's description of the local legend mentioned a group he called the Shining Whisperers, a civilization predating indigenous tribes by unfathomable ages. They were said to possess a mastery over vibrational frequencies that enabled them to manipulate the boundaries of time and space. According to Thorne, the black stone beneath Whitethorn Manor was a gate key, capable of opening not a door, but a moment, an intersection of timelines shaped by resonance and intent. Elias, a brilliant yet reckless scholar, became obsessed with deciphering the device. His final journal entry, dated the night the family vanished, detailed a crucial experiment. He had finally tuned the resonant frequency believed to activate the stone. He intended to witness the unveiled epoch, a moment he believed existed outside the linear flow of time. Alastair began to understand the horrifying truth. Elias Ashworth had not been cursed or murdered. He had succeeded in activating the device. The warm coffee, the unfinished sketch, The half-smoked pipe all indicated an instantaneous temporal displacement. But where had they gone? And were they alive? Alastair spent the next year painstakingly decoding the glyphs using comparative linguistics from ancient global cultures. He realized that Elias had triggered the activation frequency, but not the stabilizing command sequence. The family had been caught in a temporal fracture, suspended between timelines. As Alastair worked, he experienced visions, glimpses of a crystalline, sunless world and fleeting images of the Ashworths trapped in a shimmering void, their faces frozen in fear and awe. On a cold December night in 2024, atmospheric conditions aligned perfectly with the glyph instructions. Alastair prepared a sequence of tuning forks designed to place the stone into dormancy, preventing further temporal instability. But as he prepared the first resonance, the stone surged with blinding blue light, the cellar dissolving into a whirlwind of fractured air. For one agonizing moment, he saw them all, Elias, Seraphina, the children, the staff, even Barnaby, floating in the temporal rift, suspended like insects in amber. Their eyes seemed to plead for release or recognition. With trembling determination, Alastair struck the tuning forks one by one, each note slicing through the chaos. The light flickered, dimmed, and finally faded. The stone fell silent. When it was over, the visions vanished, the hum ceased, and the stone returned to inert stillness. Alastair had saved the present but sealed the past. He had closed the temporal gate, leaving the Ashworths trapped in their suspended moment, unreachable yet no longer able to destabilize the waking world. Whitethorn Manor fell quiet again, its ancient secret buried beneath layers of earth and silence. The truth, now revealed, reshaped Alastair's understanding of American history, hinting at epics forgotten and knowledge lost to time. The Vanishing at Whitethorn Manor was never a ghost story. It was the echo of a civilization that had once danced with the fabric of time itself, leaving behind artifacts too powerful and too dangerous for the unprepared. This mysterious journey ends here, but stay tuned for more untold stories in our next video. Subscribe to the channel and hit the bell icon so you don't miss any new stories. Thank you, and see you again.